What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is June the 18th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, we do have a couple big ones. We have permits and starts, as well as initial jobless claims coming out in the early AM, so roughly 15 or 20 minutes from right now. Fed interest rate decision is coming out at 1, and it is fair to assume that there won't be any cut, but what it says afterwards, that's going to be kind of a make it or break it for the market. And Powell kind of has a difficult job, and I think in reality it's going to result in him just saying higher for longer. Market might not necessarily like that, but he does look at a lot of data, and he's been open about the labor data, and a lot of the labor data that he does look at hasn't been great. So that's a little bit more of a negative, but flip side, a lot of the inflationary data has been better than anticipated. So that side would attribute a rate cut, labor data not so much. So it's kind of, we'll have to wait and see how he kind of words it and what he does state. And then aside from that though, coming from the Middle East conflict, there isn't all that much. So this is the last thing that was stated, but I feel like Iran does chirp quite a lot in the markets feeling like that. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. And then at the same time, the States has not fully committed to joining the Middle East conflict. So again, that one will be a big deal for kind of the market. But aside from that though, a lot of futures are looking pretty a-okay. So Dow is up 0.13, S&P up 0.2, NASDAQ up 0.29. One thing to kind of take note of though is the S&P, and once it does get to that 6,000 mark, that might be a kind of psychological barrier, as what has happened in the past. Even though essentially it's just a number and it's not overly that big of a deal, but 6,000 does seem to be a kind of a big barrier in the past. So we might see it bounce off of that. So just don't be surprised if stocks for whatever reason start to pull lower. But the only other thing that I do want to bring up is there's a new IPO, seems to be very popular, and that's going to be ticker CAI. So just keep an eye out for that. IPOs have been extremely hot, goes up like 100%. So again, ticker CAI. Moving on, SoFi, it is up 0.49%, piggybacking off the broader market. Right now, no news, no SEC filings. Shorts I do anticipate to be fairly active today post Powell, but 12.94% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 140 million shares. But aside from that, a couple key points to watch for with that 1452 trading right now between this R1 and the pivot. So 1442 is going to be a strong support, and then 1489 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. If Powell does hint at rate cuts sooner, then most likely this 1489 will be hit. But again, flip side, just watch for that to hold 1442. Moving on, ticker is RELI. So it is up 55%. Nothing today though, so it is just piggybacking off of yesterday's news, and that was this right here. So it's pretty good for the company given the market cap of 6.46. Actually, in fact, a lot of the stocks I'm going to be talking on are relatively low market caps, but 7.49% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 183,000 shares. So this is kind of as well what the market does like to squeeze, somewhat heavily shorted, low float. So again, meets that criteria for that. Couple things though with 342. Trading between this pivot and this S1. So I am looking at the 1 week chart only because it has gone up so much so fast. So if it does gain some momentum, 750 is going to be the next strong target. So kind of just watch for that. Ticker RUN is getting hit a little bit more this morning, a lot of volume, so 1.73%. No news, no SEC filings are associated to them today. Of course, that big kind of Senate bill really freaked out the whole sector yesterday, caused this type of returns. So NVDA and a couple others got massacred. 27.52% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 53.24 million shares. Shorts did take advantage and they doubled down yesterday. So they're, it's not the best scenario for that sector, but nonetheless though, if you are kind of have a long-term mentality, this one might be for you, or potentially swing traders. So right now with that 568 trading right now between this pivot and this S2, so 459 is going to be the next strong support. I don't see that being touched. 626 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, which if there is a nice recovery, which so far it looks like it is recovering, 626 could potentially be on the table. And then moving on, ticker EKSO, it is down slightly, 6.41%. And I don't really understand this, only because based on the news, it shows that they were accepted into the NVDA Connect program. So logically, whenever this has happened to any other stock, it goes up like crazy. So there must be more to it that I'm not aware of, or that at least this article or something does portray. So it is down because I'm not really sure, because like I said, this news essentially is fairly good. So maybe during the market open, you might see a nice bump up higher, but 4.63% of the free float's being shorted, which does work out to be 76,000 shares. So it's not even heavily shorted or anything like that. So shorts might take advantage and double down just to kind of piggyback off of the fear maybe, or something like that. But with it right now at 361, trading between this pivot and this S1, so 351 is going to be a strong support, just watch for that. And then 591 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So most likely there's a good chance it is going to stay within this range still, because I don't see it getting above that 591, but still this news should have actually caused it to go higher, in my opinion. But last but not least, ticker is STSS. It is up 12.57%, a lot of good volume because of this right here. So fairly good stuff. Again, factoring in the market cap, this is a huge deal. So most likely once the market does open, it will go up a lot more, but not heavily shorted. So 1.48% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 15,000 shares. And with it right now at 558, it is trading right now between this R3 and this R2. So 552 is going to be a strong support. 628 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, which in my opinion, given the news, market cap, market conditions, I do see this 628 being touched. So that would be a pretty good return in my opinion. So let me know your viewpoint on these stocks. Is there any other stocks that's kind of floating your boat? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.